Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to The Place to Race. It is Wednesday evening. It is GT4 action here on Simsport Racing. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and joining me once again, my co-commentator throughout Season 4 is Mr. Tim Fullbrook. Good evening, Tim. How are we, mate?
Good evening, Alex. Yeah, doing well, thank you. I've just about recovered from the epic encounter we had last time out at Imola, but I'm looking forward to more of the same this evening.
Well, as you can see, there is a little bit of a reminder for you people out there to like and subscribe here on the official Simsport Racing YouTube channel. The biggest thing this evening, though, Tim, when I saw the starting grid, 46 cars, and I remember you responding to my tweet and saying it really hasn't got much more space for about 30, and with 38 or so cars on the server at the moment, it's going to be rather busy, isn't it, with Sebastian Totolonera being on pole position, having secured 15th last time out of the opening round at well, I'm trying to remember now. God, it's been a week. So much has happened. I've slept since then. But yeah, it's going to be rather interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be thrilling. Imola is enough of a challenge as it is last time out with the number of cars we had this evening. Zolder, a circuit that is particularly tight and twisty. And like I said to you, 30 cars feels very cramped and feels like an overpacked pub. But this evening, an extra 16 cars on that is certainly going to be a challenge for those guys out there.
So here is the top 21. So Sebastian Totolonera will start on pole position ahead of Drifter Dave, as he's more affectionately known here at Simsport Racing. Dave Hedges will line up on the front row ahead of Steve Priaulx and Stephen Haley, Angus Martin and Carolus Supervicious. So you've got the Season 2 champion and the Season 3 champion in the top 6 ahead of Yannick Muller, Simon Wilkes, Gerard de Bar. Jenson Button makes a return once again. Let's see how the battle between him and Aidan Bro goes along this time. Dave Marshall, who's looking rather rapid in the timesheets at the moment in free practice, he's going to start from P12 ahead of Season 1 champion Aaron Walker. Then it is Team 4zilla's Charlie Crossland, Round 1 winner Luca Burke, Aaron Martin Pilkington, and then the comeback kid that is Pietro Fittipaldi starts 17th ahead of Stain Passpont, Cameron Fife, Zugas Tovilavicius, and Sebastian Priaulx rounding out the top 21. So Luca Burke leads. He took pole position in qualifying, took the fastest lap point, and then also the blame game has already started, courtesy of Michael Haffenden, Tim. So I think you better watch your six a little bit. Charlie Crossland in second ahead of Aaron Walker, Dave Marshall, Aidan Bro ahead of Jenson Button by just 4 points. So Bro rounds out to the top 5, and his Aston Martin has got a brand new livery, which looks rather spiffing, if I must say much so myself. Rather really good looking. Gerard de Bar in 7th ahead of Simon Wilkes, Yannick Muller, Carolus Supervicious, Angus Martin, Stephen Haley, good old Steve Priaulx in 13th. Dave Hedges and Sebastian Totolonera round out the top 15 positions. So with that being said, let's see if we can go to the teams standings at the moment. And Zansho 3 leading the way by 30 points ahead of Apex Motorsport. Team 4zilla B in 3rd ahead of Fun Q with 1001 Racing by SimCoach 101 in 5th, equal on points with Phantom Sim Racing. HF Impala, they also are equal on points on 90. So that's 3 teams occupying equal 5th ahead of Zansho 1. Dunn Motorsport, Simsport Racing, Simsport Solutions, Scuba Racing Team, Zansho 2, Dunn Motorsport CST, and MSR Racing rounding out the top 15. Michael is still waiting for Tim's top tips. Well, Michael, you're going to have to wait until we get onto the formation lap. But Tim, a little bit of history on the circuit. You know, it's a fantastic track. It hosted the Belgian Formula One Grand Prix on 10 separate occasions in the 1970s and the 1980s. And then F1 moved to Zolder in 73, amongst others. Good to see Andrew Fife. He'll be cheering on Cameron Fife, who did a really good job. He's starting 19th, 2 places ahead of Sebastian Priaulx. So, Andrew, you better cheer him on. Good to hear from Denise Pope. I know that Denise has been struggling with some issues and obviously trying to get her electricity back on, an internet back at home. I hope, Denise, that we'll see you back for round 3 or maybe even for this coming Friday. But a lot of history here at Circuit Zolder, Tim, and it's going to be a track that's really going to sort out the wheat from the chaff, if you will.
Definitely, and it's a majorly technical circuit here at Zolder. It's tight, it's twisty. You really have to be on your A game. It's an old school circuit. Mistakes can't be saved. You know, the walls are close, the gravel traps are close, You really have to be on your A game, and like you say, sorting the wheat from the chaff. It's pretty easy to find yourself in a sticky situation around here, and I'm hoping that we see a nice clean race, although with, like we say, 46 cars packed into this short circuit, it's going to be something quite exciting.
Well, we're showing 39 on the server at the moment, as it's about a couple of minutes away. I think at the moment drivers briefing is getting underway. Of course, the GT3 season is back underway, season 5, and that will take place this coming Sunday evening at 7 p.m. UK time, the 24th of January, and that will be a 90-minute race at Kyalami. And of course, GT4, Tim, one of the biggest things is the production-based side of things. Callum Cook, I was just about to get to that. The race is going to be 45 minutes, no mandatory pit stops, no qualifying. And this is where the drivers really have to watch it, because we are now, I think, waiting for the green light to get us underway in racing. But just really, where are the overtaking opportunities here at Zolder, in your honest opinion?
Well, I mean, they're few and far between, but really you're looking for a mistake from someone in front of you or really behind you to kind of give yourself some breathing space. The track really lends itself to late braking moves. You've got to try and find a run out of a corner leading up to these chicanes. And well, we might as well start then with my top tips. A lot of you guys enjoyed this little segment we've added into our GT4 coverage. So let's get it started here for Zolder. First tip, curb your expectations. I mean, round this short and frenetic lap at Zolder, the 3 chicanes that we've been talking about are arguably the most important corners on the track. Each unique in their profile, turns 5, 7 and 10 have very different curb styles, which drivers need to maximise in order to gain lap time. Get them wrong and watch the competitive lap times drift away. Also, we've got to take into account something we were actually discussing with our friend Seb Priaulx earlier, that these curbs, taking them aggressively, can really affect tyre pressures, and late in the race you can find yourself running on some rather used and worn out rubber. Especially some might have to take a more conservative approach in those later stages. Second point there, make it count. Like we've been saying, this track is tight, it's twisty, and it is difficult, and unlike many of the Grand Prix circuits that we've raced on in the SSR GT4 series, it's probably the closest we'll get to a street circuit, and at many points around the lap, concrete walls come within inches of the asphalt, and every move you make really needs to count. You can't be half-assed, you can't be half-hearted. You really need to have the door open for you to make a move. Anything that's not really on will leave you spinning off into the wall with a face full of concrete, and your race in tatters really. And our final point there, eyes all around with the first race of a reverse grid. This will be the first time these drivers might have to play a few more games with their competitors. You might find yourself with faster drivers behind you and slower ones in front, so it's imperative you have a good eye on what's going on around you, and if you see an opportunity to move forward, you might have to make something happen before you find yourself under pressure from the reverse grid winners last time out. So yeah, it's a really exciting track here at Zolder, but plenty of drama awaits you if you push it just a little bit too hard.
Now, look how blue the grid is at the back. We've got some new entries, and also someone has already pointed them out. Thank you, Denise Pope, and I did spot my eyes on them. Ross McGregor and John Monroe couldn't stay away from Simsport Racing. They're piloting a couple of Mercedes AMG GT4s. Matt Webb, Will Dendy joins the grid this time around, and also Daniel Handover. And look at the majority of that. It's there's a blue, just look at all that dark navy blue.
It's certainly stacked, isn't it? You might say it's a bit of a bottom heavy grid, but this is where it's really going to be kicking off. These guys fighting their way through the order if they can, and they're going to find themselves getting frustrated if they can't make a move up the field. But yeah, like you say, what a blue back of the grid that really is.
Yeah, I'm just keeping my eyes on because we've got 39 out of the 46 cars on the grid. Aidan Millward shouting out at the top of his virtual lungs, Zansho. Jackie proudly says, no drama in the first corner though. Jackie is Steve's better arse. So, Steve, you better watch your 6 if Jackie comes knocking. Positive perception.
Sorry, Alex, I was just going to say, it's really, see Aidan cheering on the Zansho guys, and we did expect these guys to come in and be quick, but last time out they didn't have it all their own way. There's plenty of quick guys in the Simsport Championship, causing some headaches. You know, we had Jenson Button making a mistake right at the end of the race last time out at Imola and being passed by Aidan Bro. These guys don't have it their own way, and I think we're going to see the same again this evening.
Right, okay. Well, as you can now see on your screens, a big thank you once again to our broadcast director, Mike Yao. You can now see what the grid looks like. So there are some notable absentees, one of which I have noticed, well, two of them actually. No Seb Priaulx, no Pietro Fittipaldi, so there are spots on the grid. So 21st down is Miles Dixon, Mark Roddenberry, Colin Dunn, Michael Haffenden, Lucas Zentalis, Ollie Gil, Adam Isolovic, Regan Mitchell, Alex Buncombe starting from 29th ahead of Michael O'Brien as now the formation lap gets underway. Kieran Vidago starts 30th ahead of Mark Neutlings, who says, what was it? Starting from the back will be fun. Yeah, well, that's as long as you don't come a cropper, Mark Neutlings, you'll be fine, buddy. Just keep your nose clean. So it's going to be rather interesting. And from around about, so Lucas Zentalis 25th, Ollie Gil, Adam Isolovic, Regan Mitchell, Alex Buncombe, Michael O'Brien, Kieran Vidago, Mark Neutlings, Will Dendy, Matt Webb, Ross McGregor, John Monroe, Gavin Utley, Daniel Handover, and Ibrahim Khan, rounding out the 39 strong field here. And considering this is only just under 2.5 miles, that's pretty crazy, wouldn't you say, Tim?
Yeah, it's an absolute bull ring, and I think it's really interesting to look at that second half of the grid. Like we've mentioned before, this is a reverse grid. It's 15th place that will get the pole next time out. So it doesn't matter if you're down towards the bottom. You know, you could find yourself, you know, outside the top 20, but actually come the race, come 45 minutes, come the checkered flag, you could find yourself in reverse pole for next time out. And that's really the goal for a lot of these guys in that bottom half of the grid, is can they get to that 15th place?
Yes, and obviously all results called this evening by the pair of us will be provisional, pending sporting and steward inquiries post-race. There is a protest system here on Simsport Racing. You can also, if you want to join and sign up for future series at the moment for Simsport Racing, head to simsport-racing.com. You can also head, that has all the details about our Facebook group, our Twitter page, our Instagram page, and also our Discord server. And there will be more exciting things to come in 2021 after what was a fantastic first season. Having, one of the things, the highlight for me was actually joining this community, which at the moment has 671 community members, including the 39 that are on the grid at the moment. But
I just want to mention quickly, Alex, Stephen Haley in 4th place is the first driver with no ballast on his car. This is something new for this season. Keep your eyes on that number 24 McLaren in 4th. Angus Martin behind the 863 HF Impala Chevrolet Camaro, another car with no ballast, as we're getting ready for the green light.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, they're coming out of the Jackie X corner and they're heading towards the start-finish line. So Tolonera and Hedges are the two controlling the pace. Tolonera in a McLaren which has no ballast either. Watch for Proudy and Haley just behind. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? Are we steady? It is time to go green, green, green for round 2 of Season 4 GT4 as it's 3 abreast for around 4th position. Going into Astor for the first time. Hedges trying to put it round the outside of Tolonera. And as you predicted there, Tim, Steve Haley now closing on the Mercedes rather quickly as he gets past the Tolonera as they head into Sterenbach and then also Kanalbocht for the first time. But a great start there by Dave Hedges and also Stephen Haley, 1-2 at the moment.
Yeah, they really got a cracking start there and were able to challenge into the first corners. We see a bit of bunching here through the 4th turn, and that's Angus Martin off into the barrier. I think there's a collision with Yannick Moller. That will be really disappointing after a tough race last time out, both hitting the walls there.
So we literally have them coming through as a bit of a shortcut there from Stephen Proudy. Sipper Vicious involved, and that was another that was the Maro, possibly of Simon Wilkes. As now there's Aidan Bro as Button up to 7th ahead of Crossland. No, that's Button and Marshall. Marshall's got himself ahead of Crossland. And now Aidan Bro going round the outside of the Team Fordzilla driver, and that was going out of the Villeneuve chicane. Aidan Bro really manhandling that Aston Martin and showing no quarter to Charlie Crossland, who's got Aaron Walker right up his exhaust pipes right now.
Yeah, Crossland, one of these drivers he's a little bit disappointed actually with his performance last time out. He wasn't able to close that gap to Luca Burke for the race lead. And they're coming down into the final chicane here. Crossland looking to the inside of Walker, and he's late, and they are still side by side through turn 10. And Walker just able to snip in front. A really close action already on this first lap.
Keep your eyes on Luca Burke behind Charlie Crossland, who's running the slipstream. I did see that Cameron Fife actually went off. I don't know whether he was collected there, as up the inside tries to go Luca Burke through Erster, and now they head into the double right-hander at Stellenwacht and also Canal. Crossland keeping a tight line, but good old Gerard de Bar keeping them honest, and then Aaron Martin Pilkington closing in on the pair as Luca Burke goes defensive on the inside line through Canal Bocht, and then they go into the next right-hander at Lucien Bianchi Bocht before the run down to the Kleine Chicane. And Button holding off at the moment. Dave Marshall, that's the battle for P5, and Button is just under 7/10 behind Steve Priaulx at the moment, who is a further 1.2 seconds behind Sebastian Tottolanera. As look at this gaggle coming through the chicane. I think that is through the Kleine Chicane into the Sacrament Schelling before they go into Buta.
And just a shout out to my teammate, Michael Haffenden in the 861 Camaro. He's up to 17th place, having started around 24th. So exactly what I was saying about, these guys are aiming for that 15th place. Get yourself out of the top 20. As Jenson Button is running slightly wide into the hairpin there, that's going to open the door for Dave Marshall as they run side by side towards the final chicane at the Jackie X chicane, and it's really close and frenetic battling already. Marshall not able to find a way through, as it looks like a bit of contact there between Bro and Walker behind. Really tight stuff already.
Yeah, so they've got Luca Burke just behind. Well, Charlie Crossland trying to thread the eye of the needle, trying to go towards the outside of Aaron Walker as the Team Fordzilla driver in the Mercedes is literally... there's a slight touch on the back bumper of Aidan Bro as they go into Erster, but the Aston Martin stays there. Aaron Walker, that's an absolutely hooliganism style move there, and he's made it nearly three abreast, and all contact between him and Charlie Crossland. Crossland end up sideways coming out of Stellenwacht, but he's managed to keep it on the black stuff there. But Aaron Walker cheekily stuck his nose up the inside, didn't out on the outside of all places, and I would not have expected it on Stellenwacht of all places there.
Exactly. It actually looked like Crossland was giving him a bit of a bump draft, giving Marshall a bit of a bump draft over the start finish. Sorry, giving Bro, and then he's just come out at the back as we see Luca Burke hopping over the curb side by side with Gerard de Bar down the hill here, and Dave Marshall challenging on Jenson Button into the chicane. He looks like he's going to get that one stopped just about. Button might be able to get a slightly better run out of here. And this is really one of the only overtaking opportunities if you can get a good exit, and on the run through the right and left kinks up towards the hairpin here. And it's a really close battle, but yeah, it looked like Crossland was bump drafting at the front there over the start finish line.
Well, Luca Burke went up the inside of Charlie Crossland through Terlamen, as now Aaron Martin Pilkington closing on the 66 from Team Fordzilla going through the Jochen Rindt complex, now down towards the Jackie X corner. And Button closing again on Marshall. Crossland goes defensive on Martin Pilkington, who sends it round the outside to get the inside run for the next left-hander, going on to the start-finish straight. And they've got Tavilla Vicious and Niall Schleter in the number 5 and the 37 just behind. Stain Passport rounding out the top 15 at the moment with 39 minutes and 50 seconds still to go. Schleter looking for the move up the inside of Tavilla Vicious and goes for it and gets it. Oh, turns around Martin Pilkington through Erster and collects a couple of cars behind. And I think one of them might have been Regan Mitchell.
Yeah, it did look like Mitchell ended up getting caught up in that. Pilkington was really trying to make progress, and it looks like he was connected on the left rear going into there. Schleter looking a little bit too late in the day for an overtaking opportunity there. As you see, Alex Buncombe is locked in battle with Zentalis. Well, it's a train of 4 or 5 cars, isn't it, here? It's really exciting stuff. Look at this. I'm hoping there's no friendly fireworks, at least nothing too scary for Buncombe, who was unfortunate last time out at Imola.
Well, he started from around about 29th position on the road, and Buncombe now closing up onto 15th position, which is actually occupied by the 102 BMW of Lucas Zentalis, who in his own way is actually battling away with the 223 Aston Martin. And that is of Miles Dixon, who started in around round about the bottom part of the top 20. It's now Stephen Haley fancies an opportunity. And have you seen the side of Dave Hedges' car, Tim? It's got the subscribe to our channel on the side of his Mercedes.
Did he pay? Did someone pay him, or is he doing that?
I don't know, but look, there's all manner of moments going off behind, and that is between the likes of Bro, Button, and Walker. No one's giving any quarter here. Jenson Button really put through the ringer here at the moment. We thought it was bad enough last time out at Imola, as now Aaron Walker manages to get past the number 22 Porsche. Gerard de Bar and Luca Burke going side by side through Erster, but de Bar slots in behind. Charlie Crossland waiting in the wings. Oh my goodness me, we thought the first round was spicy at Imola a week ago, but now here at Zolder, everything's gone up another level.
And it's, again, Aaron Walker is just picking the opportunities when they present themselves to him. He's not pushing everyone, he's not making, he's not slamming the doors open for himself. He's waiting for guys to battle and slow each other up, and then he's making the move. It's really fantastic racecraft from Aaron Walker, and it's exactly what you need at Zolder, where the walls are so close and the racing is so frenetic.
Yeah, I think that might have been Luca Burke that just had a bit of a shortcut there going through the Kleine Chicane. There's now Gerard de Bar trying to get towards the inside of Aidan Bro, going through the Villeneuve chicane. Gets the move done, but Bro will be on the counter-attack through Terlam and then going through Boulderberg Bocht before they, which is the tight right-hander towards the end of the circuit. So Bro will now have an opportunity as... yeah, there you go. He's got Hedges literally...
You wouldn't miss him, would you?
If anyone wanted to know, I was going to say, if anyone wanted to know who that driver in front is, yeah, that car in front is driven by Hedges. There we go, Drift Dave on the stream once again. Big thank you to Mike Yao, our broadcast director, once again. But Stephen Haley, you said at the when we went green, Tim, that obviously Stephen Haley has got no ballast, but Dave Hedges has got 20 kilos, and that can give the McLaren a bit of an advantage, maybe say like a tenth and a half or so in pure lap time, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. And towards the end of the race, when your tyres are looking slightly worse for wear, they're going to be better on the car that hasn't had to carry that extra weight for 45 minutes. As Jenson Button's going side by side with Steve Priaulx. Steve will be smiling away there, but you won't want to let the 2009 Formula 1 champion through easily. And he's actually able to just sniff up the inside, but Button's able to get the cut back onto this back straight running up to the Kleine chicane, and he's got the move done and managed to hold his position there. But at the front, it's a really close battle. Sorry, Alex.
I think with regards to that, because Luca Burke also managed to get through, as Dave Marshall looking up the inside towards the Villeneuve chicane on Sebastian de Tolonera. Yeah, Priaulx went a little bit wide, to be completely honest with you. I think he just carried a bit too much momentum. That opened the door for Button and Burke at the same time. And now they're right on the 6 of Aaron Walker. So Walker now will see a 2009 Formula 1 and 2018 Super GT GT500 champion behind him, and then waiting the wings. Well, Luca Burke looking up the inside of Jenson Button there, but there was not enough room to get through that gap as they come through Boulderberg. Oh no, there has been a turnaround. Button's been turned around, but Luca Burke turned Jenson Button around. Oh my goodness me, there's going to be a debrief. There's going to be a serious team talk debrief after this evening. But now, what this will do, and I can guarantee you this, that Jenson Button will clearly have that fire lit in that belly. He will want to make sure that does not go unpunished, but he'll do the sportsmanlike thing as a professional racing driver. Go for it, make every move as clean and concise. I think maybe that Luca Burke might have just got caught out whilst that happened. I'd love to see a replay of that, to be completely honest with you, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, there was such a tight pack of cars there. It's probably that accordion effect that's so often spoken about in racing, just bunching up into what is one of the slowest corners on the track. But Button now finding himself down in 19th after running in the top 10. He's really going to have to pull something out of the bag here if he wants to, even get close to that reverse grid pole position in 15th. So the battle at the front now is starting to separate out. Sebastian de Tolonera is really the cork in the bottle, having started at the front, and it looks like he's maybe just a little bit slower than those who are now piling up behind him, as there's more instinct going on. Gerard de Bar cutting across the chicane, looked like Charlie Crossland might have been off there as well. It's really some punches being thrown in the outer reaches of this top 10.
Yeah, that's allowed Steve Priaulx to get past the pair of them as a result of it. But look at this battle. Sebastian de Tolonera, we haven't seen him at the sharp end of the grid, but in that zero ballast McLaren 570S GT4, he's doing a really good job. As now Dave Marshall, he is, well, whenever I commentated on him, he's been a bit of the master of ballast. If you ask Rich Hayden from good friends at the VRRC, Dave Marshall won 2 Touring Car E-Series championships with ballast. Okay, let's go back to this. And now Luca Burke looking up the inside. They're going to go into the chicane. Aaron Walker just up ahead. Button turns in. Left front contact with right rear. And Jenson Button now does a 180 on the grass. Just spools up the rear tyres and gets himself back up and running. And the person that's in his crosshairs now is your teammate from HF Impala, Michael Hafferden, in 16th position.
Yeah, and it's like I was saying from Tim's top tips, I like to feel like I'm getting something right. Was that move really on for Burke? Was that position really up for grabs? It looked like he wasn't quite far enough alongside to make his presence known to Button, and it resulted in an incident and both of them dropping down the order. Like we say, you've really got to have that opportunity presented to you here at Zolder, with the track so tight and twisty, as this battle for the final step on the podium is really starting to hot up now, as Marshall's looking to the inside of the Tolonera, and it looks like he's got the move done, and that might open the door for Walker to get a good run onto this back straight here into the hairpin. He might just be able to dive up the inside, which he does. Can he get it stopped? Yes, and he's through. So now Walker up to 4th, to Tolonera dropping back to 5th place. Dave Marshall finding himself on the podium, but 12 seconds back on this lead battle between Haley and Hedges.
There's still 32 minutes to go, my learned young friend. Still 32 minutes of this race left to go. And Andrew Five just saying, keep pushing. That's exactly the right thing that they've got to do. Alex Buncombe now, from outside of the top 25, now finds himself in 13th position. Jenson Button in 16th, ahead of Adam Isalovic. Michael Hafferden just 4 tenths up the road from 2009 Formula One world champion, is Luca Burke now trying to go side by side with the number 5 Porsche of Tavilla Vicious, as Lucas Sentalis looking to make it 3 wide through. Oh, you know what? That was definitely a defibrillator moment there from Lucas Sentalis. He tried to look up the inside of Luca Burke, who now has got past Tavilla Vicious, as Tavilla Vicious gives Burke a bump from behind, coming out of the Lucien Bianchi bocht, and that's Porsche v Porsche. And don't make it 3 wide into the Kleine Chicane. Zentalis nearly obliges there, but Miles Dixon doing a fantastic job. He's got Alex Buncombe, and looks like Zentalis lost a lot of momentum going through the Kleine Chicane. Dixon towards the outside, Buncombe looking to try and make his way past in the process. Zentalis, I think he lost completely his braking there, and he comes onto the track. He's got to let the 2 behind him at the very least. That was definitely a track cut. I think he lost it on the brakes coming out of the Kleine Chicane and through the Sacrament shelling there, Tim.
Yeah, definitely. It almost looked like he got wheel on the grass in the braking zone and just fired straight off. I'm very impressed that he managed to get that thing stopped and kept it out of the barrier, but in rejoining he's going to have dirty tyres, he's going to be off the line, he's going to be kind of outside of this train that begins to form as we ride on board with Lucas Sentalis. He's closing up on the back of Dixon and Vilicious in this battle here. It's fantastic stuff, but really surprised actually that he managed to keep that thing out of the wall. It was very close there.
So first quarter of an hour done, 2 more to go as we ride on board with the 102 BMW M4 of Lucas Sentalis, right up close and personal with Zugas Tovilavicius in the number 5 Porsche. Alex Buncombe waiting in the wings. Now Buncombe looking to have a better time out this time around in comparison with last week at Imola, and has got stained passport. Michael Hafferden being chased down once again by Jenson Button, who is less than 2 tenths of a second adrift, as Tavilla Vicious actually drifts wide, and that is onto the back straightaway up to the Kleine Chicane. Buncombe trying to go up the inside of the number 5 as Steve Priaulx has a bit of a moment there as Luca Burke gets past for 8th position, but a good run through the Kleine Chicane from Buncombe, trying to close on Tavilla Vicious and also Zentalis. Buncombe looking to just wait for his opportunity, and for the calibre of drivers that we've got, like Alex Buncombe, like Jenson Button, they will know how to gather that momentum and build to make that overtake that is going to put them a place ahead.
Yeah, like we saw from Zentalis, he made that. I mean, I heard you wince, Alex, as they nearly made it 3 wide into the Kleiner chicane, but it was actually Zentalis who then came out worse. You know, he went for a move that wasn't on, and he lost the time and he lost positions. You really have to wait your time, be patient. Like you say, there's just under half an hour to go. Let that opportunity present itself to you, and it should come your way if you're persistent enough. But there's no need to be sending it, as a lot of people think is the right way to go. It's not. You need to take your time, let the opportunities come to you. As Zentalis does have a look again at Dixon in front, but wasn't able to make the move. To Tolanera now dropping back down the field. Looks like he's just been passed by Luca Burke, so he's going backwards into 7th and is going to be under 5 from Aidan Bro behind. And I'm sure that Steve Priaulx will be looking for another position too soon.
Yeah, that's very much the case. So with 27 minutes and 55 seconds remaining, Steve Haley leads Dave Hedges by just over 1.2 seconds, ahead of Dave Marshall, Aaron Walker, Charlie Crossland, Luca Burke. As we now go back to Alex Buncombe, we actually go on board with the number 23 Porsche, closing once again through the Kleine Chicane on Ziugas Dofilovicius in the number 5 in the battle for P12. Stain Passpomp just behind the Brit. And Ross McGregor has just had a massive game crash. He was up to P17, and unfortunately the Scotsman has now had a massive moment, and that has dropped him all the way back towards the bottom of the field. In the spot that John Monroe, running in 21st position, had a bit of rear end damage to that Mercedes, but all looking rather close at the top of the field. The gap's less than a second. Aidan Bro is actually a 10th and a half behind Sebastian Tolanera, as now Aaron Walker trying to go up the inside of Dave Marshall. Charlie Crossland waiting to pounce and could go up the inside of the Season 1 champion. The pair clash panels going out of the Jackie X-Bocht, but they managed to make it through. No harm, no foul, but Aaron Walker trying to go towards the outside of Dave Marshall. Luca Burke has been a bit like a rat up a drain pipe, and he's got himself into the fight as Alex Buncombe now gets past Sebastian Tolanera up into P10. And that's a really good job so far from Alex Buncombe on lap number 12. But Aaron Walker looking to close up on Dave Marshall for P3. So Marshall, for the last few laps, has been holding on to the final step on the rostrum. But at the moment, Dave Marshall doing a handsome job fending off the Season 1 champion.
Oh, as there's contact there into the Kleiner chicane. Looks like a little bit of side-to-side rubbing, both of them cutting it. And look at that, all the way through. Luca Burke is going to benefit from this and gain 2 spots out of a little bit of a nudge. And just like that, your race can really flip. Aaron Walker, who's just had one of these Porsches hounding him for the last few laps, he's now got 2 of them in front of him. And that's how quickly your race can change here at Zolder.
Yeah, but Aidan Bro not too far behind. Miles Dixon now coming under salvo fire. The warning shot across the barrel from Alex Buncombe, as this is the battle for P9. And Buncombe looking to go one way, then the other, and then he's got Jenson butted behind him. So these 2 drivers now are going to put the cats amongst the proverbial pigeons. And you can just see how close Alex Buncombe is, right in the toe there of Miles Dixon. Sends it to the outside, late brakes on the 223, and Dixon keeps it ahead for another corner, but Walker now swarming all over the back bumper of Dave Marshall as Luca Burke has started to dot away into the distance, and now between him and Dave Hedges there is a 21.2 second gap, as Walker still trying to find a way past Marshall, but then Aidan Bro looking to pounce from behind the curtains on exit stage right. Steve Priaulx still sitting in 7th position, but then Lucas Zentalis trying to close on him, and I think Priaulx went a little bit wide going through the right-hander at turn 2. That is the case. Priaulx drops down to 8th position as Walker and Bro go side by side. A little bit of door panel rubbing there, going through into the Kleine chicane. But look at that momentum carry from Aidan Bro. But Aaron Walker instantly able to respond because that McLaren has 0 success ballast.
Yeah, it looks like he's just able to get that drive out of the corner. I'm really impressed with the number of drivers who are trying to go around the outside into the Kleine chicane. Clearly, they're not too scared of hitting a few curbs and maybe chipping a few teeth on the way through. As we go on board with Alex Buncombe, who's now swarming all over the back. I think Miles Dixon actually has got front of Priaulx, so Priaulx here now with his mirrors full of this bright white and yellowy green colour. I don't know what you'd call that, but yeah. So here we go, Buncombe through.
Fluorescent yellow. But yeah, I mean, Steve Priaulx now being swarmed by the Rocket Esports cars. And look at Jenson Button trying to go around towards the outside of Steve Priaulx. Oh, Buncombe runs off the circuit, and that's going to cause him an issue. Priaulx goes up around the outside of him through the final corner, and Jenson Button goes, "Oh, Alex, didn't know you cared." And he's got around the outside of him as well, going into Alster. So it just goes to show. We saw it from Jenson Button against Aidan Bro in Imola last week, but now Alex Buncombe trying to force the issue with Steve Priaulx, trying to force Steve Priaulx into a mistake. He gets caught out through that chicane, and then Jenson Button went, "Oh, thank you very much." And that's how quickly the pendulum can swing, can't it?
Definitely, and that's what we've seen work for Walker so far. And here we go, Gav Utley on the screen now. He's done a fantastic job. We hear he's on a new sim for the first time, a new rig, so he's battling his way up through the grid. I think it would be a worthwhile purchase to see him make it from outside the top 25 to now being in a strong 16th and trying to chase down Michael Haffenden for that reverse grid pole. There's more drama kicking off here, and it looks like Buncombe might again have been on the bad receiving end of some a little bit of bumping there.
Yeah, I think might have been that Tavilla Vicious might have gotten a bit, let's just say, overcommitted, I think is the term that I'd use. Gavin Utley started down in 37th position. He's now up 21 places as Aaron Walker again trying to pass Dave Marshall. Marshall with that ballast. Like I said, he's won 2 Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car E-Series. He's currently competing in the 2nd season of the Mini Challenge E-Series, which I think is happening again very, very shortly. But yeah, I mean, look, Aaron Walker, you can see how hard these guys are pushing. They really, really do want to get onto the podium. And Luca Burke at the moment, one of the things that surprised me, considering the pace that he had at Imola last time out, Tim, he's only 1.3 seconds away from Dave Marshall.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to really pull that gap out, despite the fact that Marshall's been hounded by a very quick-looking Walker. Burke is very much still within their sight. So, you know, with 21 minutes to go, there's definitely still an opportunity for anyone really in this top 5 or 6 even to take that final step on the podium. And as it looks like right at the front, Hedges has just dropped off the back of Haley. The gap now 2.8 seconds. And it's really looking like things might start to stretch out at the front. Yeah, an opportunity definitely for Dave Marshall if he can just get his head down and close that gap to his Zansho teammate.
And there is John Monroe battling with Sebastian de Tolonera, who started on pole position, and he's got Matt Webb just behind. So Monroe and Kieran Vidago's had another bit of bad luck yet again. He had a server disconnect. So another shame for one of the rapid guys in Simsport Racing, Kieran Vidago. He's won races with us. He's a really, really integral part of the community as well. Niall Schleter has got a drive-through penalty from race control. That will be for track limits. But look at John Monroe's car. That's definitely got some battle scars and a half there, Tim.
Yeah, there's a few bits of that Zansho blue paint left out on the track somewhere. I'm sure they'll make sure that thing's painted with a fresh coat for next time out. But yeah, it's really interesting to see how Monroe has battled through, and this really shows you the mixed fortunes you can have in these Simsport races. Monroe at the back is battling with the McLaren that started on pole. That's really how these reverse grid races can work, with things flipping around, and the results are very rarely set until the final 5 minutes or less even.
So just 19.5 minutes remaining, and at the moment it is Stephen Haley that leads ahead of Dave Hedges, Luca Burke in 3rd, Aaron Walker, Dave Marshall, Aidan Bro, then it is Lucas Centales, and then we've got the 2-2-3 of Miles Dixon. There's Yannick Muller closing on HF Impala's Angus Martin in the battle between the Chevys for 19th position. And yeah, Aaron Walker has now done business on Dave Marshall after several laps of trying. So that's now going to give him the steely determination to chase down Luca Burke, who started effectively on 15th position. So if you take the victory, you're the one that's stuck at the bottom of the top 15. We did used to do complete reverse grid races here on Simsport Racing, but from season 3 onwards we decided on a reverse top 15, which actually spices up the action a bit more. You've experienced them firsthand in season 3, Tim. That really does help us with regards to upping the ante here.
Definitely, and it creates this fight in the mid-pack where you really want that 15th place. If you're just inside the top 20, you're really going to find yourself pushing towards the end of the races to see if you can get that all-important golden spot. But as we see here with Yannick Muller, the Apex Motorsport number 143 Camaro, I mean, what a difficult race this has been for him. He was challenging for the victory last time out at Imola before having an incident, and he's closing on the back of my teammate Angus Martin here. Looks like he's just being held up, but really Muller in an unfortunate position. He was challenging, like I say, for the victory, and now he's just inside the top 20. It's mixed fortunes for Muller so far this season, who's one of these drivers I wouldn't be surprised to see up there in the points come the end of the championship, but he's going to have to dig deep if he wants to add a few more points to his score tonight.
Yeah, definitely the case. After this round, we've got Zandvoort in a week's time, followed by Misano, Paul Ricard, and then the Hungaroring season finale. 6 weeks, 6 different tracks, and also 6 different countries as we go on board with Luca Burke. And look how close Aaron Walker has gotten to the number 87. Luca Burke does currently lead the standings at the moment. Coming back to what you said about Yannick Muller, he started in 7th position, and so that would have made him P9. But Karolis Supervicious, the season 3 champion, he's had an absolute mare. He's down in P23 at the moment, having started on the outside of row number 3.
Yeah, and the other side of that coin, really, just a unbiased shout out to my teammate Michael Haffenden, who's managed to fight his way up from 25th or 24th. He's now 13th, which will be a second row start for the next race at Zandvoort. It's a very, it shows how these races can sometimes go your way and sometimes they can drift away from you very, very quickly.
Yeah, so Aidan Brough trying to close in on Dave Marshall. Looks like the weight ballast starting to come into play here, but also you've got to consider that Aidan Brough only has, and in the words of Murray Walker, look at that, Jenson Button and Alex Buncombe going through into the Villeneuve chicane, and I think that was Buncombe up the inside of Button and manages to get the move done. So they now exchange places, and now you've got one of the Zansho cars behind, which could be one of the that's one of the Aston Martins, I believe. So a lot of changes happening, but a good bit of work there by Alex Buncombe, and now he's trying to close in on Steve Priaulx, who, I must be completely honest, despite the fact he's got a bit of ring rust before the first round of the season last week, he's definitely giving the 2 professionals behind something to think about.
Yeah, he's not making it easy for them, but he's having a fantastic running in 9th place. I'm pretty sure he'll be very happy with that, considering a strong performance last time out at Imola. And like we were saying about this gap, Aaron Walker's really been able to close back up to Luca Burke, and we can see Dave Marshall now has dropped back a good 2.3 seconds. He's being challenged by Bro behind, but it's going to look like Walker's going to maybe bide his time with 15 minutes to go, and like we've been saying all evening, wait for an opportunity to present itself to him as opposed to going searching for something that might leave him in the barrier.
And there you go, there's the full livery of Aidan Brough's Aston Martin, one of the team from Butler Pal Motorsport, run by a couple of people, including René Butler, who is one of the directors of the team itself, who do also compete in the VLN when that does restart for 2021. But Aidan Brough got signed to them last year, and he's become a great addition to the team. He's still chasing down Dave Marshall, gap between them just under 0.4 of a second, but Brough is looking ever closer as now Luca Burke really finds Aaron Walker up close and personal with 14 minutes still to go. And at the minute, Stephen Haley is definitely running away into the tumbleweeds in the distance.
Yeah, and you saw there how much Walker could close up in the straights without that ballast on. The Porsche just seems to reach its top end a bit sooner. We'll see maybe here if Walker, there we go, across the line, and he starts to close up a good car length and a half, and under the brakes again he closes up. It looks like Burke had a bit of a tank slapper on the way in. It's allowed Walker to really close up into turn 2. He's looking to the outside. Is he really going to dare it round there? He tries it, and he's got up to his rear quarter panel, and he might still be able to stick it out. Does Aaron Walker? They're side by side through turn 3 on the run up to turn 4. Walker's still there. Can he beat him on the brakes? Luca Burke just able to hold out, but Walker's not giving in at all. He's been run wide over onto the curb. He's now on the inside on this back straight, and look at the legs on that McLaren. He's really pulling away into the Kleiner chicane, but Burke's not going to let him have it easy. Side by side, and Walker skips over the curb and just manages to get the move done. Fantastic racing from these two.
Epic side-by-side between Burke and Walker, but epic camera work by Mike. Yeah, once again, that bloke never fails to amaze me, no matter when I've worked with him. But that was definitely the move of the season so far. Side-by-side, mano a mano, for 4 to 5 corners, and Walker got the run on it. And one of the interesting things now, Gavin Utley is battling away with John Munro. John Munro, I don't think... well. Thank you, Denise Pope, for bringing that to my attention. With 12 and a half minutes to go, John Munro is provisionally on reverse grid pole for round 3 at Zandvoort in a week's time. But obviously, after all of this racing action, about 12 minutes and 20 seconds has sort of heated down, and we wait for the dust to settle. And Steve Proudly has had massive moments. He was running with Buncombe and Button. He's now down in 19th position. Proudly definitely has been struggling quite significantly there.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to Proudly. I'm sure Mike will be digging around for a replay to find, but like you say, Munro in the hot seat now for a pole position next time out, and that's going to cause a few headaches, isn't it? He's come from outside the top 30 to be 15. No one's going to be looking forward to seeing that Mercedes disappear into the distance at Zandvoort. But look, we've got this battle here. Bro's still really trying to find a way past Marshall. He's just showing the nose, just trying to distract Marshall, maybe think that there's a move on when maybe there isn't, force Marshall to brake a bit later, make a mistake. But it's really, I mean, the Marshall's looking strong, he's looking defensively strong. Bro though is still going to be hounding for a way past.
Yeah, well, as I said, Marshall, when he's put under pressure with ballast on a car, that's when we see the true character of the driver shine above all. But Aidan Bro, even in the Aston Martin, still has 10 kilos less, so effectively that cancels out everything between them, so it puts them on level pegging, so to speak. But it's about how you get the drive out of the corners, how you turn the car in, rotate it, put down the power, and get the right traction coming out of the corners.
Zentalis behind, who we saw kind of in the middle of the race, was off into the gravel, into the wilderness, is there with them. And here we go, Proudly is going, that's battling with Button and Buncombe, and he's actually been turned there by Jenson Button. He spears across the track into that Aston Martin. But wow, that would be something to write on your "what I did in 2021" card. Steve Proudly being turned by a Formula 1 champion.
Well, he got made into the filling in a Team Rocket sandwich, didn't he, as our broadcast director quickly pointed out to me, so I have to give him credit for that one. But yeah, but it wasn't just one tag, it was the second, because obviously that caused a domino effect as a result. But now we go back to Aidan Bro, as John Munro ran the outside of Gavin Utley through Sacrament Shelling and then loses the back end. He's kept that together though, John Munro, as Matt Webb rides up close and personal in what is 16th position, followed by Yannick Muller. Aidan Bro doing everything he can to try and get past Dave Marshall. And this is getting rather interesting as we've got 9.5 minutes to go. And Bro waiting for his opportunity. They went through the Villeneuve chicane, as you can see on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And Marshall kicked up the dust with the right rear. But Aidan Bro is still on a charge at the moment, looking to get into the top 5 in about 9.25 minutes' time.
Really closing up under the brakes. I think Bro maybe caught himself off guard slightly there into the hairpin at turn 8. That was very tight between the two of them. what a fantastic battle it is between Gav Utley and John Munro. Munro is not really settling for that 15th place pole position, is he? He's going all out to see how far up this grid he can climb, and with just under 9 minutes to go, I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe benefit from a couple more positions and a couple more incidents as things really start to heat up towards the checkered flag.
Yeah, so we've had over 36 minutes and 20 seconds of this race. Stephen Haley coming through at the moment through Sacrament, Schelling and Butte, going through into the Villeneuve chicane, and he's got a gap of about 5.4 seconds over Dave Hedges, who in turn has nearly a 21-second advantage over the 99 of Aaron Walker. Walker's been running in the one, oh, he's actually 0.4 of a second quicker than Hedges at the moment. And I think I agree with Jackie Proudly there that Gavin Utley has definitely been getting out his elbows, doing some fighting to get where he is now, because he's currently in 14th position, as we still keep our eyes on Bro versus Marshall and Zentalis. So Aidan Bro keeping it nice and consistent. Yeah, that's a real shame, Denise, about the stable connection at the moment, but hopefully we'll have you back soon. You're a welcome part of the community in both GT3 and GT4. As Aidan Bro round the outside of Dave Marshall there, that was brave at its very finest, as that was through Boulderberg Bocht, and they're nearly going side by side again, coming out to the Jochen complex and into the final corners here at the Jackie X corner itself. And Bro still keeping it planted around the outside. Wow, that was a great move. But now Dave Marshall putting the hammer down, coming out of the final corner. Zentalis looking towards the inside. He could get squeezed, but he thinks better of it. Oh, contact between Marshall and Bro as they go into Astor. But Bro keeps the Aston Martin planted. The back end tries to step out to the right-hand side. Marshall to the left. Zentalis behind, but through into Serenwacht. Great job there by Aidan Bro to keep it all together.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if Dixon in 8th place at the moment is the one who ends up in front of these three. They're going door to door. Bro having to really make his presence known, as now this is Gav Utley putting the pressure on Steen Paspont in the number 444 Janetta, and there's Munro flying around at the back. He's not hanging around. He really wants to gain a couple more positions before this race is over. It's a fantastic crescendo to the end of this one.
So 6 minutes and 25 seconds still to go. Battle for the lead, I think, pretty much might have been decided, unless Stephen Haley makes a mistake at some point in the next 6 minutes. And so, but I don't think that will happen, as Steen Paspont literally goes flying across the Kleine Chicane, and then Gavin Utley loses a little bit of momentum, which goes into the favour of John Munro. But Munro in the Mercedes gets a bit closer, going through the right-hander at Terlamen-Bocht. You can just see how close these drivers are. They are not giving any quarter, and just behind them is Muller, Webb, Martin. Proudly about 1.5 seconds behind Angus Martin, with Daniel Handover rounding out the top 20.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say, I didn't say I called it, but Haley with a pretty strong lead out front. If he takes victory, I've got a little stat that I've prepared for you, Alex. He'll be the most winningest drivers, can't get my words together, in the Simsport GT4 Championship history, with his 4th race victory, which is definitely bragging rights to hold going into the next few races this season, as this train's really starting to pack up, with Paspont, Utley and Munro and Muller behind, Haffenden leading the way. I'm sure he won't want to give a position away that he's fought so hard to gain. And wow, these two cars looking very different, aren't they? The mass of the Camaro against the little nippy Janetta, trying to find a way around the outside at turn 2, and you might be able to get a cut back. Looked like a bit of contact there through turn 2, now to turn 3, and they look like they've sorted themselves out.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of what they call in America rubbings racing, and Michael Haffner just kept that well and truly planted as they come out of Lucien Bianchi Bocht. Another statistic for you. Okay, this track but Buncombe, look, Buncombe's caught up Zentalis. Look, Buncombe has absolutely done. He's dropped Jenson Button and he's closed on Zentalis, who's gone a bit wide there. So Buncombe doing an absolutely brilliant job at the moment, trying to go for But Bro is the biggest question. He's dropped to 4.6 seconds behind Miles Dixon.
Well, something's happened. Dixon, like I said,
Yeah.
Dixon looked like he might have been in the hot seat to benefit from some drama, and it looks like that has happened. So I wonder what's really gone on to see Dixon hop up from 8th to 6th.
Yeah, it'd be quite interesting that as Passpont tries to go around the outside of Haffenden. Haffenden runs in a little bit wide, coming through out of Boulderberg Bocht, but Passpont goes back into the slipstream of the Chevy Camaro GT4. And also, one of the other things that I've seen is Charlie Crossland way down the order in 35th. Another statistic for you briefly. The circuit is 4.10 kilometres. 39 cars on the grid meant that they were covered by 102.82 metres. If you put them line astern.
Well, I mean, there's certainly less than that between these few, isn't it? They're spaced out nicely to give each other their 102 metres social distancing, have they at all?
No. At least they're a couple of metres adrift, so at least they still under the current situation, at least a couple of metres. But Stain Passpont runs wide. Munro gets the position. Muller profits, as does that's Angus Martin and Matt Webb. Also factoring in as we go into the last 3 minutes of what's been an action-packed second round here at Zolder. Oh my goodness me! I think we're both going to need to lie down after this one, Tim. My goodness.
I'm going to need a dark room and a cold glass of water, I'm sure, after this one. And this looks like it might be the incident with Aidan Bro. There's a little bit of rubbing as they make the run down to the final chicane, and they're side by side. This is Burke alongside Bro, Zentalis waiting in the wings, and it looks fairly all under control. And there you go, there was the tag, Zentalis making a move on Bro, and the Aston Martin goes spinning off to the left-hand side. But props to Zentalis there for waiting up to let Bro go back through.
That will still be investigated though, nevertheless. But real shame. I mean, Aidan has been, he was third in the championship for season 3, and as we've had a comment on the stream, no social distancing in this race. Yeah, you're right about that one. It's definitely been close quarter all the way through, as we're now on to lap number 27, and with the pace being in the Haley at the moment, he's been running consistently in the high 136s, 136.753 for the number 24 McLaren. And just sort of looking at the championship standings, Stephen Haley came into this down in P11, so he's going to put himself possibly into the top 5. Obviously, all these results are going to are provisional, as Haley now, I think, has just crossed the line, and we will be on the 28th and final lap as Munro going door handle to door handle with Utley, but then Yannick Muller. Look at how askew that bonnet is on that Camaro, and Muller's still been wringing it by the scruff of its neck. Angus Martin, Matt Webb just behind, as well as Stain Passpont. So this is the Gavin Utley train. Forget the Jarno Trulli train here, Tim.
This is the battle really for this reverse grid pole. We've seen this happen before, where somehow everyone around P15 seems to bunch up and have a proper fist fight towards the end of the race for the reverse grid pole. At the moment it's Yannick Muller in the hot seat, but he is being challenged by the Camaro of Angus Martin, who's got one more lap to really try and make something count. And there's contact, and it looks like the cars there have all just bunched up, and it's Steen Passpont as well off into the gravel, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. That just looked like a really unfortunate case of several cars, and once again Muller finds himself off the grey stuff and having to rejoin. I mean, that's the third incident in these 2 races that have seen him plummet down the order. Unfortunate stuff.
Matt Webb also involved in that carambolage at the moment, but the timer hit 0 once again, and in my honest opinion that was bound to happen. But looks like Stephen Haley is on the verge of taking his first win in 2021 very, very shortly. And you can just see Dave Marshall still battling away. Checkered flag is out. Stephen Haley takes the victory here at Zolder, as we now wait for Dave Hedges. He's about to cross line. Drifter Dave takes P2. Aaron Walker comes across the line. That is 3 from the Simsport Racing community, 2 of which are previous champions. The Season 2 champion takes the victory. The Season 1 champion rounds out the podium. And it looks like Luca Burke is going to come across the line to take P4. Miles Dixon has absolutely had a stormer here this evening. He's going to come out of the final corner and take P5. Dave Marshall will briefly be ahead of Aidenborough as they now cross the line in 6th and 7th. Lucas Zentalis, I think, will get investigated possibly for that incident on Aidenborough a bit earlier in the race. Alex Buncombe and Jenson Button. Look at that. Look at that for the flying formation between the Team Rocket Esports cars there, with Button rounding out the top 10. Tavilla Vicious takes 11th, Haffenden 12th, Utley 13th, Monroe 14th, HF Impalas, Angus Martin provisionally, and I say that with enunciation, that provisionally takes P15, and also will take provisional pole for the top 15 reverse grid at Zandvoort in a week's time. Then it is the likes of Regan Mitchell, Stain Passport, Daniel Handover, Karolis Sipavicius, Matt Webb, Adam Isalovic, Yannick Muller, Aaron Martin Pilkington, Ollie Geel, Mark Raddenbury rounds out the top 25 ahead of Sebastian Totolonera, Niall Schleter, Ibrahim Khan, Colin Dunn, Michael O'Brien, Steve Proudley, Mark Neutelings, Simon Wilkes, Will Dendy, Charlie Crossland, Gerard DeBar, Ross McGregor, Kieran Vidago, and Cameron Fife being the last of the 39 strong. But that's really changed the championship again. We thought it was going to be interesting last time out at Imola, but Zolder, with 39 cars on the grid, just literally blew, in the words of Michael Caine, Tim, blew the bloody doors off.
Very right, it really did. And, you know, you thought it was last week that we'd maybe be having an Italian job in Imola, but it's this week it seems that the drama's really kicked off. But like you say about this championship, it's interesting to see last week's winner, Burke, popping up in 4th place after obviously starting the race further down the order. I think that's really going to be crucial. It's one of those results that might not seem wholly spectacular. You'll not be shouting about it come this evening's cool down laps, but it might mean something at the end of the season when the points are counted up. And I don't want to say I called it, Alex, but Stephen Haley romping away with it at the front of the grid in that McLaren really looked a class above the rest in tonight's race.
I might have to pull you back a peg or two. I'm only jesting, mate, but no, great call there. Great call there. You know, at the end of the day, it's great to have Tim alongside me, and a great job once again this evening. But I think I'm going to head down to the interview booth, Tim, to speak to some of our top 3. So I'll be back with you in just a couple of moments' time. Okay, well, let's bring in our 3rd place driver this evening. Let's bring in the Season 1 GT4 champion, Aaron Walker. Good evening, Aaron. Great fight back there. Some great battles along with the likes of Dave Marshall, Aidenborough, Jenson Button and all. But to get P3 at the end of what's been a difficult race for a lot of people is a Herculean effort. Well done tonight.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, it was a good race. Great race, really. Congrats to Dave and Steve. Apologies to Dave Marshall. I think we traded a bit too much paint, to be honest. But it was a good race, a very good race. Very difficult to get past anyone at this track. Obviously, Dave and Lucas and obviously Jenson are very fast. So, yeah, very challenging.
And obviously, being the first ever champion of GT4, you had your work cut out for you, like you say. I think I don't think Dave will mind the odd bit of rubbings racing, but you know there were quite a few other drivers. I mean, Charlie Crossland very much in the mix there, amongst other. Even our good friend Steve Proudley was battling his way in the top 10. You know, had some great battles with Jenson Button and Alex Buncombe. It just goes to show that even the professionals aren't having it their own way here at Simsport Racing.
No, I mean, I think I said last week, you know, the talent in the grid is incredible. It's getting more and more difficult to win. Very happy with 3rd. Didn't expect that from where I started, so I'll take it. Obviously, some of the other guys weren't as quick as they could have been, but no, it was a very good race.
Well done tonight, and all the very best of luck for Circuit Zandvoort in a week's time, Aaron.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay, we're going to go over to our second place finisher, Dave Hedges. Dave, firstly, I need to question you about your livery. Did you have a YouTube and subscribe to our channel on the side of that Mercedes by any chance?
Yes, it's a shameless plug. And it reminded you probably to say, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
When do I ever forget? But I mean,
I know, mate.
You know, I think really, you know, you got a really, really good run on Sebastian Totolonero going into the first corner. And then obviously Mr. Haley was like a rat up a drain pipe, and he got past the pair of you. But still to keep it within, what was it? It was about 10 seconds between the pair of you at the end of it. It still showed that the Mercedes has still got some purchase around here at Zolder.
Yeah, it's a fairly stable car around most tracks, to be honest. But yeah, I think if I needed to get past Sebastian at the start, because otherwise, I would have been stuck behind him probably for a little bit longer than I wanted to. I think it probably showed that I think Luca got past him, and then there was, I think it was about 20 seconds back to him. So really. Glad I got past him, but Steve put us under a lot of pressure, and I think he had a little moment at the second chicane. I was looking in my mirror rather than watching where I was going, and I think that sort of cost me really. But it's one of those things. I'm happy with second.
Now we go to Zandvoort in a week's time for the halfway point of season 4. Now, provisionally, you're alongside Mr. Haley on row number 7. Oh, well, you're pretty much level peggings. It's going to be different fighting from around 14th and 15th position, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, Zolder's a tricky track to pass on as well, especially sort of around the midfield. But hopefully the Mercedes will have a bit of grunt over some of the other cars, not necessarily the McLaren, because it's got such great straight line speed.
Well, well done tonight, Dave, and all the very best of luck at Zandvoort in a week's time.
Thanks, bud.
And last but by no means least, our race victor, two different race winners from 2 different races in season 4 GT4, Stephen Haley. That was one hell of a performance, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, very pleased with that. Very pleased with that. It was looking a bit doubtful to begin with. I was running with low pressure on my front right tyre, so I was trying not to hammer the curbs too much. But yeah, it was a great race. Dave got a great start. I managed to get past de Tolonais quite early on, and then it was just trying to chase Dave down, put him under as much pressure as possible. Me and Dave have history at Zolder.
I don't think you need to say any more about that one there, Steve, if I'm completely honest. But I wanted to ask you as well. We've mentioned our good friend and esteemed colleague, Mr. Stephen Priaulx. Despite he had dramas, and I don't think he expected to have that on his CV, where he got an unfortunate tap from a certain Mr. Jenson Button, but he still held his own for quite a lot of this race. And for him to be mainly in the Simsport Racing commentary box, but to get that racing itch and to come back at GT4, I think he can be pretty proud that he's battled with someone like him.
Absolutely. Steve's a great racer in GT4s. He loves his GT4 class, and it's been really, really good to have him back on the track. But to be fair, I mean, if you're gonna get topped by anybody, it may as well be Jenson.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much, Steve, and all the very best of luck for a week's time at Zandvoort.
Yeah, I think we may need it. It's not my favourite track in the whole world, but we'll give it his best crack.
Yeah, very much the case. So big thank you to our top 3, Aaron Walker, Dave Hedges and Stephen Haley there. So I'm going to now head up to the commentary box and close off the stream with Mr. Tim Fullbrook. So Tim, really good to hear from our top 3 there. And also, we had to give Steve Priaulx a good shout out there with in terms of the interview side of things, but just the breadth and depth of this grid. We saw the volume go up to 11 here at Zolder. What are you expecting next week at Zandvoort?
Well, I think if we have more of the same, I don't think yourself and me will have much hair left, will we, Alex? It will all fallen out. We would have pulled it out, or it would have gone rather shade of white. But yeah, it's going to be fantastic to see these guys battling at Zandvoort. Another close track where there's not many opportunities to pass. I'm expecting more of the same, and really interested to see how these guys who are now starting to put their heads above the rest as championship contenders, maybe do they go into damage limitation and just try and escape from the Zandvoort dunes with some points to really push themselves on into the second half of the season.
So that's it from us here in Belgium, in Zolder, for the second round of Simsport Racing Season 4 GT4. Join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Tim Fullbrook in just a week's time. That's 7 days from now. As we go to the North Sea coast, we head to Zandvoort in the Netherlands. A big thank you to Mike Yao, our broadcast director. A big thank you to all our 39 strong competitors that joined us here this evening for round 2. We're looking forward to what's going to be happening next week. So until then, don't forget, if you have been watching on our YouTube channel, don't forget, as Dave Hedges prominently showcased on his Mercedes, don't forget to like and subscribe, and why not hit the notification button at the same time as well. See you in a week's time. Stay safe and look after yourselves. Good night.